Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and as you guys can see from that screenshot, which quite a few people linked to me, a few of my subscribers were upset. And you know what, guys? I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to respond to this insult with insults. I'm just going to discuss it for a second, and let's keep it classy, because you know what, guys? I'm starting to make so many enemies inside this industry, calling out all the nonsense and the fakes and the BS and the rip-offs and everything, that there's going to be a lot of people taking pop shots at me. I felt just like addressing this one a little bit because this is someone from inside the actual strength training world, is actually a respected coach who just pretty much for no reason took a pop shot at me. And so let's just address what his actual points were, and then I'm going to address him for a second. And I thought it was really weird that he's like, my main appeal is calling people out for cheating. Well, that can't be the case because I only have a dozen or so videos talking about fake natties. I have over 1,500 videos on this channel. That's less than 1% of my work. I used to do the fake natty thing on Ice Cream Fitness. I only had like 4 videos on that ever. I had 4 videos. I started a new channel. I had 38,000 subscribers then. My new channel built to over 70,000 subscribers here before I ever even addressed the fake natty thing or made the fake natty videos again. My main emphasis and my main appeal is that I give good advice to people who are just trying to get in shape, get stronger, maybe be athletes in various fields, people who want to be healthy, fit, people who are looking for deeper scientific information on all these topics, everything from how anabolics or anabolic hormones work inside the body to nutrition concepts, how to periodize their training programming. And just like Chad, I put out programs. However, unlike Chad, I don't charge for my programs. A lot more people have therefore successfully run my programs than other people. My appeal is that I give people free information that works for them. And I don't charge anything for it other than just the commercials and the videos. And as far as the calling out people who aren't accomplished, well, was medically disabled. I spent an entire year in bed sick, and I had doctor's orders to not exercise or work out for over 3 years in my early 30s. I rebuilt myself and I went back and competed in powerlifting again. And in my first year competing again while still being medically disabled in my late 30s, I didn't ask for any special accommodations. I competed in the normal open class at the age of 37 while still holding a medical classification of 100% disabled. I had to get medical clearance from my doctors to be able to compete again, which I got. And I competed open. I did really well at my regional. I took second place in the overall, won my class, took second place behind a guy who went gold at Worlds that year, who was a personal friend of mine. I got invited to the European Championship. I got invited to the British Championship where I took a bronze medal, and I got invited to Worlds for the WPC as someone who had spent a year in bed not that long ago, was still medically disabled, and I came back and just competed and gave it my best. And considering my medical history there, I don't see how that isn't accomplished. It doesn't make me a champion by any means. But to come back from that sort of illness and to get in and compete again, I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm pretty proud of what I was able to achieve there in that year of competing again. And I'm glad that I did it. And I'm glad that I went out there into the arena and fought and held my own. I wasn't the best, but I held my own against able-bodied men after having all those medical issues. And that's something I will always be proud of for the rest of my life, that I was able to accomplish that. So to say that I'm not accomplished, that's just poor sportsmanship, Chad. And the other thing is, Chad really doesn't have a choice in what he does. I can't blame him in certain ways. When he said on his podcast, everyone's saying, well, he's saying in his podcast, most of the athletes are clean. There's very, very little cheating in drug-tested powerlifting and drug-tested strength sports because the drug testing is better than people really think it is. And you know what? Chad doesn't have a choice but to give nonsense about that sort of thing. He doesn't really have a choice because he has so many tested athletes that he coaches. If he were to get up and publicly say and tell the truth that there is tons of cheating going on, that there is excessive amounts of drugs, even despite the drug testing. The drug testing doesn't really work, and guys can get away with using a large amount of drugs in spite of the testing. If he got up and said that, he would be blackballed as a coach. His athletes would be blackballed. His athletes themselves would be subject to extra testing, and he would be in trouble, and he would lose most of his clients as a result of it. So he has to take that stance. He can't tell the truth about what really goes on because he would lose his business, basically. So I'm not going to knock the guy for saying that. He has to kind of be deceptive on that topic when it's brought up because his ability to earn a living is at stake as a coach. So I don't really knock him for that. But Chad, as far as talking about other people's achievements without knowing anything about them or where they've been, when you say something like that about someone like me, another competitor like me, that is really poor sportsmanship. And I would ask you to step back and look at that and reevaluate that before you hurl personal insults at other people out there in the community who might have a little more outreach than you do. And please note that I kept it classy and respectful to you in my response. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.